Hey, this is Jen Gray, your host of Be Genuine with Jen podcast, where we discover how our authenticity is our superpower. I am so excited you've joined me for today's episode. Let's get started. Friends, happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing so great. I am super excited for today's episode. It's going to be short and sweet and to the point. So I hope you get a lot of value. If you do get a lot of value, I would love for you to do me a massive favor. Wherever you listen to this, whether it is on YouTube live, in video, or you head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you don't mind just clicking, first of all, subscribe, so you make sure you always get updated whenever I do make a new episode and put it out into the world. And then also, if you wouldn't mind leaving a 5-star review, if you feel like it's 5 stars worth of value, I would absolutely appreciate that. So today I'm going to talk really candidly about getting out of our comfort zone. This is where I have been the last couple of weeks. And so you guys know this podcast is all about taking you along my journey, and as it intersects your journey and what you're going through and what you're dealing with and all of the things. And so when you think about comfort zone, I don't know about you guys, but right, what do you think of? You think comfort. You think you're not being stretched, but you don't really think of it in the negative. I think most of the time we think of it in the positive, right? It's like we are around things that are familiar. We're around people that we love being around, right? And all those things are really good. But we don't grow when we're in our comfort zone. So a few weeks ago, I think it's been about 3 weeks ago now, in both professional life and even friend life, I just felt like I was in a rut. My business wasn't growing. I wasn't setting more appointments. I was kind of stuck at the same level. And then I went to an event and I was talking with a friend and realized the reason I wasn't elevating anything is because I wasn't doing anything different. Right? I was showing up, I was having consistency in the same things, but the consistency doing in the same areas is just going to get you same thing, right? And so it's like I was becoming insane. I was doing the same things, but I was expecting a different result. And then I'm like, I've got to change my actions. And so think about in your own world, where are you going? What are you trying to do? Because I'm going to assume if you made it to this podcast, it's because you want to step into something, right? It's whether it's into an authentic version of yourself as a mom, as a dad, as an employee, as an employer, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or whatever hat you may wear. But even more importantly, just as the person that you are and the way that you show up to the world and to the people around you. So if you want to go further, you want to step into something, what does that look like? We have to step out of something in order to step into something. And so the way we step out of our comfort zone is to step into something that is uncomfortable. I know, rocket science. But here's what it was for me. So I go to a networking group called Monday Morning Brews. It's just a local networking group here. I'm sure they have those in your area. Local business owners, and the vibe is so great. The energy is so amazing, and they are as loyal as can be. I've developed some of the most genuine friendships. But I go to that every single Monday, and there has been so much growth, both personally, but my business, my referral business is great. And, all those things, I've developed some great, friendships and all that. But I almost have exhausted, or I was at a point where I'm sitting back and I'm waiting for those people to send me their people. I don't know if you've ever built a business, but being in the passenger seat probably isn't the best place for you to be if you're building a business. And so for me, I am building a life and health insurance business. So I help small businesses and entrepreneurs and local businesses find really cool opportunities and options for their employees, and whether they're entrepreneurs and all of that. So me building relationships is a critical part of what I do as a business. And so I'm showing up to these same meetings expecting or hoping that the people that I know and love will continue to send business my way. That's one morning a week, right? And I go, obviously I'm on social media. And so how can I get out of my comfort zone? And I was having a really candid conversation with a friend of what should I do, I'm business is going okay, but I really know I have to do something different in order to go to the next level. So what did I decide to do? So what I decided to do about 3 weeks ago, I contacted another friend who is so well networked. And I said, hey, listen, My kids are going out of town. I want to jump in your networking train and I want to go to everything that you go to so I can find out which other groups exist and which other groups like fit my vibe. Like which do I find opportunities? Do I think that I would be a good fit for these groups? So y'all, I went from going to one, maybe two groups a week but one consistently. So I went to 15 networking events in 4 days. Now, I do not have the bandwidth to do that day in and day out. And I will tell you, after day 2, I was questioning every bit of my extrovertedness. And I was like, oh my word, I am peopled out. But also, my cup was so full because I had come in contact with, I think I can literally honestly say hundreds of people. By the end of the 15 events, hundreds of people I did not previously know. Listen, here, I'm like getting excited. I don't like knock my camera off. Here's what's crazy. And it's so simple, but here's what I want you to see. Y'all, those 15 events have been existing week in and week out, and I just never went to them, right? Like it wasn't like all of a sudden out of the blue, these events. But listen, the week prior, I was not looking to get out of my comfort zone. So those 15 groups, man, they were impacting all kinds of people. But my life and my business and my trajectory was not being impacted because I did not step into these meetings. I did not step out of my comfort zone and go to these meetings until then all of a sudden one week I said, here I go. Starting at 6 a.m. and getting back sometimes 9 and 10 o'clock at night. And it was so good. And I cannot tell you the explosion in my business and in my podcast. I cannot wait for all of these new guests that are booking with me to join me on this podcast, all because I realized that my life was not going to a new level because I was not in any way, shape, or form uncomfortable. And I want you to think about this. I heard a powerful quote, and it said, find a vision that will pull you through the pain of transformation. Find a vision that will pull you through the pain of transformation. There's a couple of things in that quote. First of all, you got to have a vision big enough. Like, what do you want to do? And is it going to drag you and draw you through the hard times you're going to have to face? Is it worth the nose? Is it big enough for the nose? Because if it's not, you're just going to quit. But if you find a vision that's powerful enough, then you've got to know the only way you fail is if you give up. So everything else is about pushing your limits, stepping out of your comfort zone, week in and week out. And even bigger than that, I think it's moment by moment. One of my business coaches, Craig Siegel, said, chase the butterflies. So you guys think about it. Like when when you go into a situation and you are crazy nervous, like the butterflies are all in your stomach and you are feeling so out of sorts. And you were like, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. So for some of you, it's public speaking. And the thought of public speaking just like terrifies you, or it's going even to a networking group and speaking to anybody, even if it's a group of 20 people, like that would terrify you. Or let's take social media, for instance. Like if I, coach anybody in social media and branding and having a presence on social media, one of the very first things that I coach any client to do is to go live on social media. And they're like, Jen, like I'll post like every day, but I don't want to go live. And I'm like, listen, okay, well, first of all, let's just post every day, but you're not going to grow until you go live. And you're like, Jen, that's like a little bit legalistic. Okay, maybe. Here's why I know. Here's why I know it's so huge. Because going live is super scary. Like, but it's kind of funny because like nobody can talk back to you, right? Like you're literally on a camera and nobody can like, whatever. But it's scary. It's scary to talk to a camera. But when you go live, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fear, right? You push through the butterflies. You are chasing opportunities for the butterflies. So for me, stepping into these networking groups, the one that I go to all the time, like I don't get butterflies in that one. But I will tell you the other 13 of them that I went to, every single time I go in, I can have a smile on my face and I'm wearing all the pink things and I can go in there like I know what I'm doing, but I'm like fighting back all of the like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. But why did I push through that? I pushed through the pain of transformation because my vision's big enough. My vision is I want to have a life that I have only dreamed of, right? That only is like something, the figment of my journals, and I've never experienced. I want to impact millions of people, both through my podcast and then by coming alongside and helping them practically with insurance, right? So the only way I do that is when I step into things that are uncomfortable. So, okay, so as if that wasn't enough, then you got the other side of my world. It's the podcast, right? Like having guests on it at first was like, that was an uncomfortable thing, right? And then it's going live. And now I have a studio where I'm going to be having guests face to face, right? So it was like, how can I push through and how can I elevate? How can you push through the uncomfortable? What's it going to take? And here's a couple of things that you can think through. Here's a question that I want you to ask. How uncomfortable can I get? What do you need to do this week that like proves how uncomfortable can you get? Are you asking questions where you're getting a no? Somebody asked me that at an event a couple of weeks ago. How many times are you asking a question in a week where you're getting a no? Now, there's sometimes, like for my business, I send quotes out and I don't get a yes on everything, right? Like I don't have this perfect 100% success rate business. But as far as let's take the podcast. He said, how many people are you asking to be on your podcast and they're telling you no? And I'm like, well, so far, nobody. He's like, you're not asking big enough people. And I'm like, okay, heard, right? And again, it doesn't mean that the people I've had on there's any like lower level, no. But as I ask people that are saying yes, who are my chicken list people? That's what we called it in another business, right? Who are the people that when I think from like, there's no way they would say yes. There's no way they would agree to it. For me, that's my challenge. I have to ask those people because that's what's going to take this to another level. So what is that for you? Because what I know is I'm literally every single day, I am swamped busy, and not just busy. You guys know the difference, right? You know, when you just like keep yourself busy versus you actually have income producing activities that you're doing, you're actually making great connections. You're actually moving the pendulum forward. I don't think that can happen until you get out of your comfort zone. And again, it's like you get to this point. Like for me, like a year ago, I would have never stepped foot in a networking event. That was like, those are not my people. I'm just going to figure out how I can grow online. Then I realized that was just a limiting belief. And then I took it to this point, and then I took it to this point. And so now that's where I am. So where are you? Where are you in your business? What could you do today that you're like, no, like Jen, I'm not ready yet. Whatever you would say, I'm not ready yet, I am challenging you to put it on a piece of paper, to let somebody else know that in 24 hours from when you listen to this podcast, that you are committing to take one action that scares the ever-living crap out of you. That's what I want you to do. One action, one person you're going to contact, one call that you're going to make, one live that you're going to go on, whatever that looks like for you. But what is one action right now in your life with the direction that you're going and the vision that's massive, that what are you willing to do? And I want you to be reminded of this. This is so huge, y'all. Y'all, we act like we live in this like scarcity. We act like there's like not enough for all of us. And so we're like these little like rats looking for little things, like little breadcrumbs. And we forget that there's so much abundance around us. And the problem is that we don't even get ourselves out of our comfort zone to even access the resources that exist to get us to the next level of impact and influence that we want to have. For instance, do you believe that the resources that you need are out there? Who do you have to become to access the resources that you need to level up your life? Who do you need to become to be the person to have access to the things that you need to level up your life? Who do you need to become? I personally think the biggest thing is you have what it takes, and you have who you are inside of you, and what you need to do maybe right now is to take some courage. You already have it inside of you. It's not like we need to like go figure it out. No. Don't use that as an excuse. All you need is courage to take the next step. Maybe it's money. Maybe you need money. Pretty sure there's a lot of people with billions and billions of dollars. You may only need a good 6 figures, right? You may just need $10,000 to get started. What do you need? What do you need right now to push forward the nonprofit that you want to get started? What do you need to do to get that business what do you need to put your kids in the kind of school that you want to, or get them on a travel baseball team and you would love for them to be able to, play travel. I don't know what it is for you, but something you're saying no to because you don't think you're worthy of it. And I'm here to tell you, the only thing that you need to do is you need to know you are already worthy of it. You've just got to step out of your comfort zone to get it. You've got to believe that your vision is big enough, and you got to believe that there's going to be pain you have to push through, butterflies to push through, but there are people out there that want to help you. There are connections that are literally waiting to come alongside your purpose. And how do I know that? Because out of the blue, I've had it, because you know what I decided to do? So listen, y'all. I don't know if you guys know this, if you haven't listened to some of my original podcasts, I used to public speak, right? I did it in the context of speaking on stages to high school girls in the context of the church. Went through, life happened, lost that position, lost that platform. My heart to speak still exists. Do you know what I started doing when I showed up at these meetings? Instead of just going and showing up at these meetings and talking about insurance, I told people I was a public speaker. I said, I speak to teams, and I help shift their mindset to know that their authenticity is what's going to move the pendulum forward in their business, that they need to know that life happens for them, not to them. And I want to help push your teams to another level. Because guess what? I know how to impact. I know how to influence people. Hey, can I tell you a secret? I haven't spoken on a stage for a business yet. But you know what's pretty cool? I've been booked 3 times in the last 2 weeks. All because I decided to speak it into action and have confidence in knowing that I know I can speak at your event. Just because I haven't done it yet, nobody else has given me that opportunity yet, does not mean I can't do it. What is that for you? Speak it. Go out there and share it. Literally now, people watch my stories and they're like, guess what? I want you to come and speak for my event. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm so honored. It's so crazy. But again, what if you, I get so excited because I'm telling you, y'all, my mind has been so freaking blown because I didn't know that I was living in a comfort zone. I thought I was just like going and like serving my time and like gaining exposure and getting my feet wet and all the things. And I was waiting for this level of success in this area and all of this. And I'm like, guess what? I am absolutely equipped to help the person I was 5 years ago. I'm equipped to help the mindset that I was 3 years ago. You are equipped to help the person that you were, even if you were in a horrible situation and you got yourself out of it. Guess what? You have the capacity to go and influence the person that was in that situation. All you got to do is step out of your comfort zone and take that belief and go out there with the mindset that I'm going to help somebody else. And then I'm telling you, you speak that and you show up and you have consistency and you get out of your comfort zone and you have these dream lists. Maybe you want to write a book. Okay, write the book. What do you want to do? And I want you to decide. Remember, you've got 24 hours to do one thing. And I would absolutely love and be honored if you would shoot me a message or shoot me a DM and let me know, what are you doing in the next 24 hours? I want to cheer you on. I want to hold you accountable. I had someone hold me accountable to a huge action step that I put myself out there for. I want to do that for you because I know, and here's what's so cool about our minds. When we stretch our minds and we grow our minds, and we do that by doing things that are uncomfortable or pushing our limits. Listen, when you do that, it's like this rubber band. It doesn't just shrink back. You've stretched your mind and you just keep stretching your mind because listen, God has given you a God-sized vision for your life. And so many of us are just playing too small because we have some figment of our imagination. Somebody has told us we're not worthy. We don't deserve it. We don't have enough credibility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all God's saying is jump, just go do it. Screw it up, learn from it, get back, pick yourself back up and get out there. So go out there and keep asking for the no's. Are you asking questions big enough and often enough to get no's? I'm telling you, I'm with you guys. This is our next level, y'all, when we just decide that enough is enough. All right. And so listen, I want you guys to know today, I believe in you. I believe that expansion is possible for every single one of us. And I believe that you deserve big things. Like whatever you can dream up, multiply that times 10,000. And the only way you stay stuck is if you stay comfortable. Life's too short. All right, you guys, I love you so much. And that may sound super, super silly, especially if we've never met each other yet. But there are people who hate each other all over the world for absolutely no reason. So I will choose to love you for absolutely no reason until we get to meet and I get to find the millions of reasons there are to love you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, if you found any value, would you screenshot this and would you put it in your stories and tag me? I'd love to share those. And also leave that 5-star review if you found any value in this. I believe in you. And as always, be genuine.